Okay. Now let's move on to another example of the logic tree. That's improving operating margin of major product X. As I have introduced in my prior class number 2, in problem solving 7-step process overview, in good problem statement, when I introduced the example of the problem statement, I used the case of the improving of operating profit margins through of the major product X, right? Yes, I think you remember you learned about writing problem statement with the topic of improving operating margin of major product X, right? So our company is selling product X, that's the major product, and our competitor is selling their product Y, and then last year the sales of the product Y by our competitor has increased dramatically, right, by 10 billion Korean won to 30 billion Korean won, increasing by 300% in the maturing market. And so the total size of the market is declining. So in this situation, the task given to us is, how do we improve operating margin of product X? So please think about what are the options to improve operating margin of product X in a very difficult business environment. The total market is not growing. It is actually shrinking. And competitor is expanding their market share because customers like our competitor's product Y. So what are the options? So in order for us to explore the potential solutions, or in order for us to develop the business strategies to effectively increase our operating margins, the first thing we have to do is defining the problem, which we have done in the previous class. Now it's time for us to think about disaggregating the issue of improving operating margin into the small issues. So I presented 3 empty boxes. So how do you want to disaggregate the problems into 3 sub-issues? What could be the sub-issues? Think about. And then those sub-issues should be mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. Okay? So this is a kind of the logic tree to draw the meaningful solutions. Okay? What could be the potential solutions of improving the operating margin of product X? Think about it. Okay. I presented 3 different options of improving operating margin of product X. Number 1, by increasing the price. Number 2, by decreasing the cost. And number 3, by increasing the sales volume. Let me explain a little bit more about each of those options. Operating margin means the margin we will take by selling the product, right? So as I have emphasized and as I have explained in my previous class, margin means price minus cost. At a certain price, we sell the product. And by selling the product, we earn the amount of the price. Okay? If the price of the product X, 1 unit of product X, the price is $100, and we will earn $100 by selling 1 unit of the product X. But $100 is not the entire money we can take. We have to give some of the $100 to the suppliers because we bought the raw materials from our suppliers. And also we have to give some money to the employees who did their best in manufacturing, in producing this product. And we sold, we spent some money as an advertisement expenses. And then we borrowed the money from the banks. And then we have to pay the taxes, right? But when we try to find out the solutions to improve the operating margin, and operating margin is maybe the earnings before interest and taxes. So please disregard taxes we have to pay to the government or the interest we have to pay to the banks. But at least we have to pay the cost of the materials, raw materials, and production costs, and something like that, right? So in case those costs is $80 per unit, and then we have to subtract those $80 from the price we earn of the $100 per unit. And then our operating margin is 20%. That's $20 per product per unit of the product X, right? So how do we increase the operating margin? Simply, we have to look at whether we can increase the price of the unit price of the product X. If we can earn $110 per unit by selling of the product X, instead of getting $100, our operating margin could be $30 instead of the $20, right? So one thing we have to look at is the option of increasing the price. That will definitely improve the operating margins. Another option we have to think about to improve operating margin of product X is by decreasing the cost. If we can decrease the cost from the current level of $80 to $70, and then we can enjoy more operating margin even without increasing the price of our product. Those two options are the ways to improve the operating margin. But there's another option of improving operating margin. Simply by selling the sales volume more, we can improve operating margin of product X, even though operating margin percentage is the same. That means still we sell our product at the unit price of the $100, but the cost is $80 per unit, but we may increase our sales. Currently, for example, we are selling 100 units, but we may increase the sales volume of our units to 200 units by 100 units, and then the entire operating margin can be doubled, right? Even though operating margin percentage is the same, 20%. But if we sell 100 units, we only get 2,000 US dollars by selling 100 units of our product. But if we sell 200 units, we may get 4,000 operating margins, even though operating margin percentage is the same of 20%. Okay? So in short, there are three different ways of improving our operating margin of product X. One is increasing the unit price. Option number two, decreasing the unit cost. Option number three, by increasing the sales volume while maintaining the unit price and unit cost at this current level. Those three options are mutually exclusive, and if you look at all three options, no option is left uncovered. So all three options are collectively exhaustive in exploring the solutions of improving operating margins. Okay? Why do we disaggregate the problem of improving operating margin into those three areas? By doing that, it's easier for us to analyze. And the problem itself is quite complicated, and there are a lot of ways. But by disaggregating the problems into the small issues, it's easier for us to analyze. And also it's easier for us to decide which issues we can tackle. So if you are good at analyzing, if you are good at disaggregating the entire problems into small issues using the logic tree in accordance with the MECE rule, you are a person of strategic thinking. As I said, good strategic thinker is good at disaggregating the big problems into the small pieces. At this stage, you may think that, okay, this is too difficult and this is way too much for me to draw the conclusions. Okay, no. As a consultant, even though I have over 20-year experiences as a logical thinker, drawing the powerful logic tree is still very challenging to me. And also, there is no simple and quick way to master the powerful logic tree. And how do we increase and improve our capabilities of drawing a powerful logic tree? Exercise is the only answer.